Hi, and welcome to the second podcast for Phat Travellers. We spent the week doing a few different things. The first thing was we went to Mount Tamborine, which is about, 25 minutes away from our house?
Yeah, 25 minutes from our house, but it's about 45 minutes from Gold Coast.
Yeah, so we spent the whole day basically up Mount Tamborine. We went to two different places. The first place was Skywalk, Tamborine Skywalk. Is that the full name of it?
It's not, but I can't remember it.
Skywalk Tamborine or Tamborine Skywalk, something like that.
Both places we went to are 1.5 kilometres apart. The first place was the Skywalk, and the second place was
Curtis Falls.
Curtis Falls, yeah.
So the Skywalk is privately owned, and I think the entrance fee for me was like close to $20, and for Alan I think it was
Don't know, you paid.
$16 or something like that, because he has a concession. What's your concession for?
Veteran Affairs.
Oh, that's right. So, yeah, Alan's Veteran Affairs concession gets him a discount on places. I get to pay the full adult price. And so we went into the Skywalk, and my expectation, and I think Alan's too, was that pretty much the whole place would be up above the treetops on a walking platform of some sort.
Yeah, it's not what I expected. Like Deb said, I expected it to be a treetop walk and really exciting, like you're feeling like you're above everything. And it started out that way.
Yeah, in some places we were.
Probably for about 30 metres.
Yeah, maybe a bit longer.
Maybe
a bit longer than that. But, yeah, I thought it would be probably a little bit more than what it was. There were lots of beautiful things to see, of course, though. You know, you started out walking on the Skywalk, and then you move on to, I think it was just like gravel walking track, and then some boardwalk as well. And then you go around and back down to a stream.
It's only probably a K
Yeah,
distance.
probably about a kilometre or so.
Yeah, and once you get around towards the back, you get to another little bit of Skywalk, which was up pretty high, and it went about 20 metres off the edge of the hill.
Yeah.
Up on a really tall pole, and the pole waved left and right, and everyone on the pole's looking like, is this safe?
You'll see in our YouTube video that part. That was the part where Alan was like, nah.
I'm scared of heights.
We started walking out onto the platform, and it had a name for it, but I can't remember. We started walking out onto the platform, and I got to probably about 3/4 of the way out, and it was just swaying. And I'm thinking, hang on, is this supposed to be moving this much or not? And then, I had a bit of a conversation with Alan. Oh, it's moving. And he's like, yeah, nah.
Yeah, I'll wait for you.
And then I'm like, no, come on, we've got to go and film. And he's like, nah. And turned around and off he went. So he left me out there, and, I'm not scared of heights or anything like that, but the amount that this thing was moving, I wasn't sure if it was actually, on its way out, and I was going to, fall down into the gully or not. So I just did a quick look, stuck my camera over the side, but then again it was moving too much that I couldn't get any good footage anyway, so got off it as quick as I could, really, and so did most people that at that point.
Yeah, so from there we went 1.5 k's back up the hill to North Tamborine, I think it's called. Yeah.
What was your overall opinion though of the Skywalk? Like, once you got to out of that section and there was more gravel, and
it was okay.
Yeah, but we saw a snake.
Well,
we saw a snake. We saw a carpet python.
Probably a 7-metre python.
Yeah, out sunning itself, and that was great because it was so close and it was just sort of staring at us. So it wasn't scared of us, and we weren't scared of it. only because we knew it wasn't venomous, but the
Yeah.
bite would have still hurt if it bit
No,
us.
but we saw a snake. Other than seeing a snake, I'd say it was average.
Yeah. Well, then after we saw the snake, we went back to the entrance where we came in, and they have a little gallery in there, and they had a lady in there painting. She did some nice work.
She did some nice work, yeah.
And then they also had like a little gift shop where you could buy things. So overall, it was okay. I probably wouldn't rush back.
No.
But it was, it was good to see because we hadn't been there before.
Yeah, that's it. We've been there, we've seen it.
Yeah.
Then we moved on to Curtis Falls, which we've been to probably 3 times before.
Yeah, Curtis Falls is a national park, so there's free entry to Curtis Falls. And I think in the video I said it was like 400 metres and 10 minutes return. It's actually it's actually a bit longer than that because now I think there's 2 circuits that sort of join together, and like it takes you 10 minutes to walk down to the waterfall, but walking back up, that's another story. I think we both were pretty knackered by the time we got to the top again.
So the path goes down. It's probably, how long did you say? 400 metres?
I think so. I think going down to the waterfall, it's about 400 metres.
Okay. And it zigzags its way down the side of the hill. And the track's pretty much just dirt waving through the trees. There's quite a few steps. There are some steps which are a little steeper. After the rain, there was some mud in spots, but it wasn't too bad. If you went on a rainy day, you'd probably need some good boots to walk it.
Yeah.
Because you will get mud on your feet.
Yeah.
But the walk down, absolutely beautiful. The scenery the whole way was excellent.
Oh, yeah. Lovely.
We saw a couple of bush turkeys scratching their feet, looking for, I don't know why they scratch it. I'm guessing they're trying to dig up worms or something.
Yeah, they were scratching, and then I saw it eating something, so
Okay.
they're looking for food.
Yeah, so the lots of bird life. I didn't see any, but you could hear lots of it. Then as you get down towards the bottom, you start to hear the water running through the creek. And
That's the nicest.
yeah, and it's really beautiful. Once you get down the bottom along that creek edge and you get to the waterfall, it's worth every bit of the walk.
And we've seen an eastern water dragon lizard
Yep.
down
Yeah,
there,
little young one.
sunning itself.
And yeah, then we walked along the water. It's a track that goes about 100 metres along the water edge. And if you follow that, it heads back up to the shops, and there's a shorter route back if you wanted to.
Well, yeah, we went on a Saturday, I think, Saturday or Sunday.
Sunday.
There were a lot of people there, and like people were everywhere. So I would highly recommend, if you're going to go there, go during the week if you get the chance,
Yeah, less people.
or after work or whatever during the week, because it is better.
Now the
with
walk
less
back
people.
up. The walk back up was, you're uphill all the way. Could be a bit tiring for those people that are unfit. I know,
Like
I was
us.
huffing and puffing. I was huffing and puffing on the way back up, but it's doable. It is doable.
And I was like, ow, get the friggin' camera off me. So you'll see no uphill footage in our YouTube videos.
Yeah. So overall,
Well, yeah, it's excellent. That Curtis Falls is excellent, but it was a bit annoying seeing people going right out to the falls and past the barricades and stuff, because they do have signs there to say don't go past this area, and the reason that they have the signs there was basically to protect the platypus population that they have there, and also just so the species that live in the ecosystem there don't get damaged. But there were
protecting the environment.
there's always a few people that think they need to go out there and get their selfie shots.
Yeah, that wasn't us.
No, that wasn't us. We didn't do that. Yeah, but overall,
Oh, worth it. Worth every bit. The scenery all the way down. The walk was enjoyable. Like quite often you go to places like that and the walk's tiring. You get to the waterfall and it's beautiful. Then you got to walk all the way back. This is one where the entire trip is enjoyable.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Yeah.
And it probably took all up, I think we spent about an hour there because we did do the lower track as well. And
I don't know.
then,
Yeah.
yeah, probably about an hour. So it's definitely worth doing.
Yep. Yeah.
Now, what else did we get up to this week? I can't remember if we went filming anywhere else this
No,
week. I don't think we did.
This week.
Yeah. So, tell us about your technology situation at the moment now, because I know I leave all that sort of stuff to you to work out with, the different things we need.
That's fine. I could talk about that. It's all new to me. I am somewhat technologically capable, but age has caught up to me, and there's a lot of new stuff out there that I struggle with, and it's a lot harder now to try and get my head around it, but I'm getting my head around it.
And I mean, the proof of that is this podcast. I mean, if you saw the setup that we had,
I actually took a photo before we
moment.
started, so I can put that photo on.
Yeah, okay, that'll be good because, we, before last week, knew nothing about podcasts. We hadn't even listened to a podcast, to be honest.
I didn't even know what a podcast was.
So we haven't, actually, I listened to one, full one, and then I said to Alan, okay, we need to do a podcast as well, to, back up with our YouTube channel, our travel vlog. So within a week, within a couple of days, we had to work out how to do it. And you would notice our last podcast, we didn't have any video. And the reason why is we started with we did record it, just like we recorded this one, but it was just a matter of what we didn't actually work how we thought it was going to work last week.
Well, that issue was, it was a laptop issue. I've got a Surface Pro 7, is it called? The Microsoft laptop.
A Microsoft Surface Pro.
Yeah. A great laptop. Like, I for what I bought it for, it's actually quite good. But I what would I say? Now that I've changed, I found that it is not meeting the needs that I need it for. Because I'm now doing a lot of video editing, that's high, what's the word I'm trying to think? Yeah, I will, when I get a breath. That's a lot of high memory usage, and the Surface Pro doesn't quite meet that need. But I'm learning from it. So the video we took last week, it became very jumpy and we had to delete it. Yeah.
Yeah, so this time we've set up on using our phone and the Surface Pro and the microphones and cables and, a whole bunch of different things. And hopefully this week it will work the way we thought it would. But that was a learning curve, and we'll know by the end of this whether
So
it worked.
if you have that problem, you now know that my solution is I'm now recording on my iPhone, and I'm recording the audio on the Surface Pro.
Yeah, the video is on the iPhone, plugged into what? Anything?
Nothing. I'm just going to take it straight off the iPhone, and I'm going to use editing processes to hopefully match them both up perfectly.
Yeah.
Now, I started editing with iMovie, and iMovie's great. I love iMovie. It's really easy to use. For what we need, iMovie does cover it. But
and you're on an iPad.
And I was editing on an iPad.
Yeah.
Now the problem is we're doing a lot of editing and a lot of moving around of different files, and on an iPad it becomes very complex and very hard when you're only using your finger and not a mouse, and it's a smaller screen. and it just become undoable. So I've downloaded DaVinci Resolve. DaVinci Resolve. Most of DaVinci Resolve is free to use, which is I don't need the fancy stuff at this stage, and I don't know if I ever will. But for what I need it for, I can go onto my computer and do all my editing in DaVinci Resolve with a lot less stress.
Yeah, because what was happening is Alan videos, and then we have to get all of our videos to one central place. And then Alan goes through and edits most things, and then he sends it to me, and then I'll do my part of the editing, which is like the
YouTube parts.
The YouTube, yeah, the thumbnails, those sort of things. And just trying to put it all together, Alan was finding it really difficult because when we uploaded it to Canva, which I was using on my side of things, he couldn't just upload the whole video that he did because of the limitations with the programs. So that's something that we're working on and, struggling sometimes, but working our way around it. And I think, it's only been, this is our 4th week. So
we're doing quite well.
Yeah. From where we came from to not knowing anything about content creating to being 4 weeks in, and I think we've now created about maybe 8 long videos and a bunch of just YouTube shorts as well, and then also 2 podcasts. I think we're doing really good.
Our theory was we were going to do all our editing on everything on Apple, and that way we could airdrop everything to each other real easy. And it'd be user friendly. But the hurdle we did come up with was the laptop issue, and for me to buy an iMac, that was a big outlay in finances. And I thought, no, I've got it. Not yet. I've got a computers. I've got other computers which aren't Apple, but they're usable, so I'll use them.
Yeah, and plus we had different priorities for what we need first. We didn't want to outlay a whole big amount to get everything that we needed to do this without having a basic understanding of how to do things. And it basically came down to, well, okay, what's your priority? Is it a microphone or is it a
drone?
Okay, well, at the time it was the microphones because we wanted to get the podcast set up.
And we've learnt that lesson straight out with our first purchase. Our first purchase was a gimbal.
Oh, yeah.
So I said gimbals. I'm watching YouTube. Everyone on YouTube says use these gimbals. So I said we're going to go get a gimbal each, and that's what we're going to start with.
So we went to Apple. We got 2 gimbals, and I hate it. Well, no, I don't hate it. Like
you don't use it.
I don't know enough about it yet to be able to use it the way it should be used. Whereas Alan's got more experience with it. I'm happy with just like a selfie stick. For me, that would work instead of having to learn all the, different things it can do. I'm sure it's a wonderful thing, and it has proven to be great with a lot of the filming that you do. But I find when I film, I just handhold my stuff most of the time.
Your work's more candid. You like to do the candid shots where you're just doing a quick handheld photo image, where I'm doing a lot of hyper. What's it called? Hyper.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Where it's all fast speed footage and slow speed footage.
Yeah, I don't like that. See, we have different styles as well. So Alan likes the slow-mos and the fast things and all that sort of stuff, where I prefer the natural look of things. So, the combination of both, hopefully we can find, and I think we are finding the balance of where our videos and the editing side of it turns out good, but we both know that we've still got a lot of room to improve, like the audio side of it, the video side of it, but we're getting there. 4 weeks in, we're happy with what we're doing so far.
So the DJI gimbal that I've got Like it's basically a computer within a stick. It's got all these little motors that run and twist and that. And like Deb said, it's a big learning curve to understand how it works and perfect how to incorporate it in your footage. Where I know if I studied some more, I'd be able to use it a lot better. But at this stage, it does get stressful because I don't have that knowledge yet. But the one thing I would say that's really good about the gimbal is it keeps your camera very steady. So it's not shaking when you're taking footage. That's the most
true,
important.
but
That's why I keep using it.
I also find the iPhone that I use, it's got a thing on it, I think, that keeps things pretty steady anyway. So,
Yeah, that's it. It's personal choice.
yeah, that's it.
And I'll keep using it. It comes with a little tripod so I can sit it there and it can automatically pan and do all these fancy things. But
And
all depends what you're after.
we'll do a video later about the things we use, I think, and
Yeah.
when when we ourselves know more about how to use everything better, we will do a video on what we're using and how we're using it.
Now we went to the statues, the sculptures at the beach, the Swell Festival. And from that video, we've learnt that we needed microphones for our
Outdoors,
phones.
yeah.
So we've ordered 2 microphones for our phones, which are Bluetooth. So you just plug a little dongle into the bottom of your phone and have the microphone attached to yourself to remedy that problem.
Yeah.
So that was our next purchase.
Yeah, and then it was like, okay, well, Alan was talking about the editing side of things, and, it's a big thing, it's important, but he also wanted to get a drone as well. So it was like, okay, well, they're pretty much around the same amount of money, maybe the computer's a bit more, but which one's a lot more, but which one's more important at the moment? And for us, I think, because we had an iPad anyways, and at that time Alan was using
We've got the other laptops.
iMovies, we decided to go with the drone so we could get that extra footage for our videos, and we can still edit without getting the Apple.
We don't need an iMac computer at this stage,
No.
like we said before. But the drone, I've got it, and I've taken it out twice so far. Absolutely brilliant. The drone I got is a Mavic 3 Mini Pro. No, Maverick Mini Pro 3.
I don't know.
Comes with a remote with a screen on it and everything. And it's the stress of thinking I've forked out all this money on a mobile camera that's going to be flying around over the ocean and over the jungle and all this sort of stuff. This is highly stressful. I'm going to lose it because I'm not the greatest pilot in the world. But after I've used it twice, and the technology in these drones is unbelievable. They fly themselves. I can just set it to fly home and it'll find its way around the trees, land pretty much exactly where it took off from. Stress-free. It's easy to fly. When you fly it manually, you basically can't crash it because it stays off the ground. It won't allow itself to hit the ground. And the footage that we're getting just from the 2 times we've taken it out to test it out, the footage is unbelievable. The quality,
it's great.
I'm really looking forward to incorporating it in our travelling videos.
Yeah, for sure. And especially when we find places you can fly it, because there's restrictions on that as well here. So
yeah, it's going to be the balance of
either sneaking it in somewhere.
Where can I or will I?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I'm totally impressed with the drone. Just for a couple of minutes of footage, I think it's going to be worth it.
Yeah, and I was surprised too, because we took Lola and Lindsay, our golden and chocolate lab, down to the dog park with us the other day, where Alan took it down to have a little turn of it. And Alan was flying it like pretty much past the dogs, or just above, and I was a bit concerned that one of them would jump and try and catch it and pull it down, but the dogs just totally ignored it. And I don't know, maybe that's because our dogs don't even like to play fetch.
Oh, that's it. That's too
So
much
they-
of an effort to lift 2 feet off the ground.
So they won't go and chase a ball if we throw balls or anything at the park. So maybe they just thought, oh, that's just another ball going past or something, and they just didn't even worry about it. But
Yeah.
the footage you got of the dogs was great, like
Yeah.
beautiful.
Yeah. Now, what do you think of the videos that we've been producing?
Well, in what way? What way? Because I
We're
usually
new. We're new to this, so our videos obviously aren't going to be perfect in the
No.
way we do everything.
No, there's things definitely with each video that we've done so far. There's definitely things that I can look at and say, "Oh shit, look at that! We shouldn't have put that in," or the sound's not quite right, or we've got too much music and not enough talking, or what I have in my head, how I would like our video to look and sound, is different to what we're putting out there at the moment. But I'm not too worried about it because I think everybody starts somewhere, and
It's been
you've
4
got to
weeks.
have the dodgy stuff before you get into the quality stuff, and the more that you're learning about it, the better they're going to become. So at the moment, I'm happy, but I'm a bit of a perfectionist with a lot of things. So
So am I.
so it does make me want to get better quicker instead of just naturally.
Yes.
A lot of people I think can just, start and not worry about it, and then gradually their videos will get better. But
We want them better straight away.
yeah, I want mine better from video one.
Yeah.
But I know I've got to keep telling myself, no, this is normal. This is normal. Like everyone that you listen to who has talked about their first videos or their first podcast and things like that always say they cringe when they watch the first ones that they did. So I'm anticipating that in 2 years' time, when Alan and I look back to our first 4 weeks, which we're thinking is pretty good at the moment, I'm thinking that we're going to have those cringe moments too, where
already
we're
do.
just like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Well, I think our biggest challenge has been talking while we're videotaping. We need to do more talking while we videotape, but
Storytelling more.
storytelling.
More storytelling.
Yeah, that's the word. That's the one.
Yeah.
And I find that we are getting better at it because we've just spent half an hour talking storytelling while we're doing this video right now. So it's one of those things that's not natural to everybody. But,
It's definitely not natural to us. And I mean, I think it was about 2 years ago, 2 or 3 years ago, actually maybe not even that long ago, but we started getting ourselves comfortable with being online because of our art studio. So with our art studio, we were like, okay, well, we need to do lives on Facebook, and we need to have some YouTube videos. And that was that was like, I don't know, I think we had 3 subscribers and like 5 videos on YouTube. And we didn't know how to work it, and we didn't know any of the behind the scenes of YouTube sort of stuff. And so our learning from 3 years ago or 2 years ago to now is ginormous. Like it's been a massive leap.
Ginormous.
When it's the what we were just talking about.
Yeah.
I look at those art videos now and cringe when I see them. So I'm assuming that that's why I'm going to do the same thing in 2 years when I look back on these and listen to the podcast here. But what was I saying? Like, why did I go into that story?
I don't know. Well,
I
she's
can't
getting
even-
very good at talking.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. What I was going to say was from sitting in front of and doing lives and forcing yourself like 2 years ago to do lives on Facebook in front of people. it was nerve-wracking. Like, I remember sitting there absolutely shaking and, thinking, oh, shit, what am I doing? How's this looking? What are people thinking? And I think it's once you get to that mental attitude of like, well, you know what? I
Who
am me,
cares?
and
Who
there's
cares?
different audience for different people. And if people can't relate to me, well, they're obviously not my audience. So you get to a point where you just feel more confident in yourself because you do realize that, you know, well, for me particularly, everybody, isn't 25. Like, I'm not 25 anymore. The videos that you see of people with great bodies, no, don't have that either. So, am I comfortable getting in front of a camera and putting it out there for everyone to see? And we all know, there's keyboard warriors out there who are going to think it's fine to get on and have their opinion about my looks, my age, whatever. But I've got to the point now where I just think, you know what, this is me, and I will have my audience, and we will find our,
They got the problem, not us.
well,
We'll just laugh at it.
no, I won't. I'll still be heard. But yeah, I think, when you get that mindset, it's easier to do. Where in the beginning, you're too worried about too many different things to actually produce anything of quality, because that stuff's going around in your head thinking, oh, how am I going to do this? What am I looking like? What do people think? So now I think because we had that lead up where we did those lives for a little while, this time when we thought, okay, we want to make a travel vlog, and we want to make a travel podcast, and we want to make this our future goal with doing this regularly, that we've just put all that stuff that we learnt before aside, and we've got over it and just thought, you know what, let's just do this.
Yeah.
And we'll find our people. We've found 116.
All three of you?
No, we've found 116 subscribers so far. So, so yeah, it is what it is. But we're enjoying it. So I think when you get to, your 40s and 50s, you start deciding. It's more about what you enjoy, not what other people
Okay.
think.
Yep.
Whereas, your 20s and 30s, you're still a little bit about like, oh, what are people going to think of? What are my friends going to think? Like, that sort of stuff.
So what?
Yeah, and now it's like, you know what, like me or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah. No, we're enjoying life, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are.
Yeah.
I
think we've covered it all for this one.
Yeah, I think that's probably a different way than we thought the podcast was going to go.
Yeah, we didn't plan it. We just started and let's see what happens.
Yeah, so next week what we'll do is we'll talk about the video or the travel vlog that we do between now and then. And we'll just try and give you, just more of like what we feel and how we're going, and so you can get a bit of an idea about what we're like as people instead of what we're presenting on the YouTube videos, because they're two totally different things. And that's the reason why that's the reason why I wanted to do the podcast originally, and Alan agrees, I think.
I'm just in shock at the moment because I've never seen you talk so much. You are so comfortable with what you're doing. Yeah,
normally I need some bourbon.
Normally I'll be getting the nudge going, you'll say something, but I'm just sitting back and letting you go.
Yeah, honestly, I think doing this in the last 4 weeks, I felt a lot more confident anyways. And so I am having more of a voice.
Okay.
More of a voice, and when you start feeling more confident, I think it's easier to do things.
Yeah, that's it.
So now,
Practice
now,
makes
now I'm
perfect.
going to shut
We're going
up.
to be more confident. And we're going to head out now. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Or if it's a podcast, thanks for listening.
Yeah, that's it. It's
going to be both.
That's
Yeah.
it. All right. Catch you next time.
See you later.
Bye.